to connect to it.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, this behind the scenes conversation is brought to you by Jimmy Malone and George Wallace. Hello, everybody. Welcome to What You Need to Know Headlines. I am Sybil Wilkes, and it is Thursday. It's George Wallace Day. And our special guest is comedian and radio host, the one and only Jimmy Malone. Hey, welcome.
Hey, thank you for allowing me to be here. After we competed for years.
We were. Absolutely. When I worked on a little radio show with Tom Joyner and you were doing mornings, were you a knucklehead then, or were you?
Yeah, I've been doing knuckleheads almost the whole time. I was on I'm WMJI for many years, and we competed against you. You guys were on locally on ZAK.
Right.
So you are a competition, and I'm still on, and I'm on a different station now, but enjoying it.
In Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're on. You still do a weekly show, right?
Right. I'm on every Thursday and Friday morning on 1350 a.m.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
this morning we had a distinguished guest on my show this morning. So.
Oh, who would that be?
George Wallace. Have you heard of him?
Only when forced to.
And Sybil, we talked about some things about me associated with Cleveland area. Now, I don't even think you know that when I left college, my first job was selling rags, Sybil, and it was a company called Cleveland Cotton Products. I never thought about that until now. I go from college to cotton.
I say from rags to riches.
That's what I thought too. I thought you were going to say from the riches of college to the rag life, but okay, all right.
And I made a lot of money selling rags. You'd be surprised how many people need rags, real rags. You know, I sold the ShamWow back in 1972. It didn't even have a name. I made $3,500 in one day. I sold the rag to Earl Scheib, you know, the car dealers.
The car guy?
And nobody had ever heard of this rag you could wash out and reuse, you know, because they were using real rags like old shirts and things like that.
Sure.
These were disposable cloths. I had every disposable cloth that you could think of. I'm the one that sold the first. Remember, you used to go to the dentist, they had like a linen cloth for your chest. And we put now we use the handy white with a plastic backing.
Right.
So I sold that. And so I had a lot of fun in Cleveland. I went to University of Akron. Everybody knows that. And some people in Akron found out today what the Akron zips are. We didn't know until 10 years ago. Sybil, do you know what a zip is?
I know what a zipper.
But that's where it came from, a zipper. And that's the real name. But we found out the other name is what a zip is. Ohio State 38. Akron zip. So that was it. We talked about Cleveland this morning. We talked about working there. We did shows in Cleveland. We talked about Cleveland is also the pothole capital of the world.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. You've been to Chicago.
Yeah.
You been to Cleveland?
Yes. But I would hold Chicago up there with the best of them.
Have you ever hit a pothole and your teeth fell out of your mouth? My teeth fell out. These new teeth fell out of my mouth. That's why I had to get new teeth, because I went to Cleveland. My teeth fell out of my mouth.
I was just in Chicago. The traffic, because my daughter lives in Chicago.
Is that right?
I can't handle the traffic.
Yeah, well, I tell you, Jimmy, there are two seasons in Chicago. It's winter and construction, and most of the traffic is related to the construction that's going on, and the stupidity. The men who put these roads together. I still have frustration, and I just driving in Chicago trying to figure out who these idiots are that put these roads together, and putting three lanes of roads on the way to the busiest airport in the world. Exactly. You know, it's like, it just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, Jimmy, I want to talk to you more about Cleveland. We have some other Cleveland related topics we're going to talk about. But starting off, and in the news today, our friend and his, probably still the most famous man in the world right now, Dr. Anthony Fauci. And now we are getting a look behind the scenes of Dr. Fauci's emails, and a lot of brouhaha has been brought up and stirred about as a result of these infamous emails and some of the things that people have learned from Dr. Anthony Fauci's emails. The first thing I learned is that he will answer just about everybody. People wrote him, they sent him emails, like this lady said, I've had a flu shot. Do I need to get, a coronavirus vaccine? And And he said, yeah, I would. He explained the difference between the virus and the bacteria. He's like, yeah, so I would get, when the vaccine becomes available. And then she wrote him back. She said, I am so surprised you answered me.
Sybil, that is so good because I had noticed, I'm going, does he really have a job, or is he just on television all the time?
Yeah.
You never see him at work. All day he's on every TV show interviewing everybody.
Man.
Yeah, absolutely. They wrote him very specific questions. He was very diligent in answering them, even when there was controversy. And he may have been included in an email, but it wasn't directed at him, or the way the Trump administration was treating all of this and
Right.
the information they were putting out there. And so he would respond and say, well, I'm trying not to, get in that. And he goes, oh, no, Dr. Fauci, this wasn't intended for you. I don't know how you got in on the emails. Well, I'm glad I wasn't on this email. It's like, okay, Doc, but don't you have some discovering of a vaccine or something to do to help us, But that's just, he's an 80-year-old man. His mind is obviously as sharp as a tack. And, he wanted to be as helpful as he possibly could to the American people, especially at a time when we weren't getting the information that we needed,
But there's also a conspiracy that he may have been a part of this whole thing. You know about that theory. He and Bill Gates and all of them. Because I know today, what was it, February, Bob Woodard had the interview. Was that January, right?
January, yeah.
And if he knew, why didn't he ever speak up? He always knew that this was going to spread. Why didn't he? He would sit there with Trump and listen to Trump lie. And he and Dr. Burke, and they would not say shit. And that used to piss me off. They knew.
I think we just had to watch that face, and it was almost like, the prisoner of war. He couldn't really say anything when they were photographing him, but he would kind of get oh God.
He's afraid of Trump. He's afraid of Trump.
He could have said something. I thought both him and Dr. Burke should have, and I think what they should have done is said, like when Trump had that ridiculous talk about injecting bleach and drinking Lysol, they should have the Hippocratic oath should have made them stand up and say, folks, this is insanity. Don't do it. If he had fired them, they could have gone on any other broadcast and done it. Anytime.
And more popular. They should have gotten fired. Yeah, I would have stood up. I wish I had been back there. I would have said what they said to Obama. Liar! Liar! You're a bold-faced liar, Trump.
You make a great point, and I thought about that because it just like when Trump knew back in January of last year what was coming and didn't tell people. I thought that's the least of our problems in terms of filing a lawsuit against him, right?
Exactly.
But I agree with you, and I think that that Hippocratic oath means a lot, and you do take that seriously. It is an oath, obviously, and for the saving of lives, and how many lives could have been saved if they had said no, we can't, and waited for one of those live press conferences. I was like, I gotta go. You're no.
This man is a nutcase. Don't listen to him anymore. We're going to have another press conference on another station and listen to us. That could have been done. Can you explain this? Either one of you. They want to, and now these emails are coming out and they want to investigate Fauci, but they don't want to investigate January 6th.
They're going to approve it.
So this shows you how ridiculous the Republican Party is, that they want to investigate this man who we would like to think was trying to save lives, as opposed to an insurrection of this country and bringing down the democracy of this country.
Exactly.
Right.
Voting against the truth.
Yeah.
When they were in danger themselves, they don't even want to find out who was trying to kill them.
Right?
Yes.
And the big law and order country, the big law and order political party that they are, Jimmy. And they are going against all of these men and women, many of whom voted for them in the police corps.
Exactly. Crazy.
It doesn't make any sense.
But that's what we live in America, and it's backwards, and I hope it gets better. But the Republicans are just flat out crazy. And the two Democrats that vote for them more, they're flat out crazy too. That's why, once again, we got to get back to voting matters, and we got to vote all these people out of office, and it's just got to be done. We got young people. And
you make a good point, George, because now we are halfway through this year almost, right? And we're looking at the entire United States Congress, the House of Representatives. It's going to be up for re-election or be up for election next year, as well as 1/3 of the U.S. Senate. In a year from now, we're going to be in the midst of primaries. And so we have to think about this and keep a list of all those people who did not show up for the vote on the January 6th commission, all those people who voted against it. And there were Democrats who did not show up for those votes. And so we've got to look at them and ask for some answers.
And what's your problem?
And now's the time to be really getting that in people's minds.
See, what we need to be looking at is how the minority party is taking away the right to vote of the majority party so that when the next election does come around, they'll have an easier path to victory.
Yep, that's right. And to those people that say that they want the For the People Act as well as the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, this is where the rubber hits the road in the next couple of months, and making this happen. And I'm in Texas, Jimmy. So, you know, we are in the midst of that whole Texas Senate Bill 7 and not being passed the other night. But it's a big deal. And now that, you know, the Democrats are saying to the president and the party, you know, we're trying our best here, but we need you to get these federal acts done that make the federal laws happen.
Aren't you down? You're down in Texas. Isn't that where that valedictorian spoke up? I was so proud of her.
Yeah, I was too.
If she spoke up, how come Fauci couldn't speak up?
Here we have a 17-year-old girl.
Yes.
And just took it upon herself. She said, and for people who don't know, this happened right here in Dallas. And this young woman is valedictorian for her class, and she wrote her speech. She submitted it, and then she said, "Not going to give that speech." And what she did was she had written a speech, and she spoke out against the horrific abortion bill, the abortion restriction bill that has been passed by the Texas state and signed by the governor. And so this young woman spoke so beautifully and passionately. It's obviously gone viral now, and her talking about the responsibility that has been taken away for your wives, your daughters, your sisters, and all of this. And she got an ovation.
17 years old. That's what you can do when you don't have a job. You don't have a boss. You can say whatever you want to say. That's why we talk a lot of shit on this show, because we got no bosses.
We got a boss, George, and she's sitting right there. But I was just so proud of her. But let me ask you guys, if you had been in that position, and this is something that I've thought about, would you have had the nerve to do what she did? And I'm asking the people that are watching us too.
Right. I would like to say yes. At my age today, I would. When I was 17, I don't know if I would have or not. I'm very impressed with her.
Yeah.
Well, what you don't know is kids 17 today, it's not a dog's life, but 17 is equivalent to 58 years old now.
Okay.
Is that right? Okay.
They know much more than we know. They know twice as much. We never knew a lot of things because they didn't teach us in school exactly what's happening this week. Nobody told us about Tulsa. We're just really getting into that. So these 17-year-old kids are smart, and they're smarter than we are. Let's just face it.
Well, I don't know, because I went to school with some pretty smart kids, but I'm talking about that
You were one of them too.
No, but I'm talking about that inner core, that sense of, really wanting to make a difference in this world that she had. That we might have had the school knowledge, because Jay used to say this all the time, George. You got the school knowledge, but I got some common sense.
Yeah.
And so, but these kids have look at what's happened, following the school shootings and the kids in Florida that really took the lead in fighting for gun control. You look at and other issues that they've had. This is a different time, and it's a different kind of initiative that they have taken and responsibility that has not been existent for many a year.
I'd be curious to meet her parents, because somebody who has that type of inner core, they must have done something to raise her right. Yeah,
absolutely. I agree with you. And the really interesting thing is everybody saying, well, you should be running for politics. She's going to be going to the University of Texas at Austin, the state capital. So she'll be right down there with those fellas as she spoke out about them and the horrible things they've done with the bills in this state. But I really think that she's going to go very far, and look forward to it. And, she got retweeted and folks like Hillary Clinton and all, just giving her the good for you pep talk and everything. So it was really cool.
Sybil, did you happen to hear about what's going on or what happened in Hudson, Ohio, just about 30 minutes from where I'm living on Memorial Day?
No, what happened?
It's a huge story in our town right now. There was a guy, Lieutenant Colonel Kempter. He was given a speech for the American Legion in Hudson, I'm sorry, for the Memorial Day events. And he had told them in advance that he had part of his speech was about what blacks did to contribute to the creation of Memorial Day and some other contributions they made to the war. So the two people who were in charge, a lady named Cindy Suchan and Jim Garrison, when he got to that part of his speech, they turned his microphone off. And then waited till he got through that and then turned it back on. It has blown up like crazy. The city of Hudson came out and condemned those two nitwits. The American Legion has come out and condemned them. But that's the kind of crap we go through in Ohio.
Yeah, well, Ohio, you really do. Nitwits is being nice.
Yes,
yes. But I had not heard that story. And going back to a little bit just to the young woman, she was waiting for them to cut her mic and they did not.
Yeah.
Which is a miracle unto itself.
Yes.
But how awful was that?
Ohio is a troubling state. It was like I live up in the northern part where I guess we have been insulated for a long time. But when you look at Ohio as a whole, it's a lot of things wrong here. Go to any county fair in Ohio, and they are selling the Confederate flag and proud of it, and it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
So you're saying we're finding something wrong with every state, no matter where we live. There's some, Texas is really screwed up, and Georgia's really on the tad of passing Florida. And you got to be really screwed up.
You really have to be bad to pass up Florida. On the scale there.
But Georgia's catching up. How about South Carolina bringing back the firing squad? It's getting stupid here.
Let me just take a second as you get a hold of your words. Saturday, there's going to be an important runoff election in Fort Worth, in which a Black woman could become the very first African-American mayor of Fort Worth, Texas. Okay. And just want people to remind people who are in Fort Worth that this is your chance to vote. If you have not done early voting, Saturday is it. And if you didn't vote in the regular election on May 1st, you can, if you're registered, you can still vote in the runoff election, which is sometimes not often the case, or sometimes or not often the case. And so I just want to people to be mindful of the fact that history could be made. And I hope I'm not jinxing her. I'm hoping that, I'm not doing the Tom Joyner thing and jinxing this poor woman. Deborah Peoples is her name, and she's run for mayor before and come very close. But this is a real opportunity to make history in the city of Fort Worth. And so, folks, and if you know somebody in Fort Worth, make sure call them and see that they get out to vote on Saturday if they have not already.
I think Texas has the message. What happened in Georgia? Texas now know
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, George, but I hope you're right. I George, with all my heart, I really hope that you're right.
Well, listen to me. I think the Black people, like we know, we have a friend, Jimmy in Texas. 276,000 Black people did not vote in the last national election, and what a difference that could have made. So those people in Fort Worth, Dallas area, go out and vote for this lady. Make sure you do it.
Yeah, and if you're in Dallas, don't vote because it won't count. Make sure
but if you're in Dallas, you cross the line and go vote. And
George, and Jimmy, let me talk to you a little bit about the investigation into the man who has really screwed up our postal system. Okay. The Postmaster General, Mr. Joy, we're looking at him in connection with past political fundraising. Of course, we know how things got messed up in the last election as far as the absentee ballots and mail-in ballots were concerned. Those are the two guys. And so now the FBI is investigating Louis DeJoy, who was there on your left, in connection with campaign fundraising activity involving.
Which one is he, Sybil? The one, which one?
This involves his former business, according to those who are familiar. In recent weeks, they have interviewed current and former employees of DeJoy and the business, asking questions about political contributions and political activities. And prosecutors have issued subpoenas to DeJoy himself for information. And the person says that they are still looking regarding a lot of ongoing and politically sensitive information in this investigation. Now he did get this job, obviously, because he donated over $1 million to the Trump campaign. That's how he got the gig in the first place. Now they're trying to figure out how to get him out of there because of the way all of the things he took the machinery out, ordered the machinery out of the post offices, slowing things down. People's hours were cut. You name it. Every way that he was able to screw up the postal system, as if they needed any help, he did. And so and it really did mess things up, not only for the postal employees, and I really do appreciate them.
So do I.
But as of yesterday, they want to raise the rate of a stamp. I've been out of town, y'all. The price of the stamp is going to be 58 cents.
Yeah, it's going up this summer.
It's amazing. 58 cents for a stamp.
58 cents.
See, now I'm on the other side. I believe that the first class stamp is the best bargain in the universe. If I said to you, I want to give you a letter and I want you to take it across the country and hand deliver it to my friend, and I said, I'm going to pay you 58 cents, what would you say to me?
Go to hell. Go to hell. But the problem with that theory is if you gave me a letter and you told me at 58 cents and take this across the street, I take the 58 cents and I drop it off. I drop it off. But the postal system is still good, but it's still messed up. There's some things they could do. We got to keep getting mail no matter what. And we need it on Saturday. And we just
and those are the things that they've often talked about, stopping the Saturday deliveries and what have you, in order to save some money, because they are always behind the curveball when it comes to their budgets and balancing things, if it is possible to balance.
Well, actually, we only need to get our mail 3 days a week. That's to be honest, to tell the truth.
Is that right?
We only pay our bills once a month. Three days. Everything should be like that. Hospitals should be open 3 days a week.
Oh, no,
Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Yeah, we can save a lot of money.
Don't forget Saturday night in Chicago, my friend. We need that hospital open on Saturday night. I'm just saying.
I'm just going to say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's when the hospital is going to be open. You get shot on a Saturday, you have a heart attack on a Tuesday, that ain't going to be your day.
Man, so you see, now George is going to be on stage on a Saturday night in trouble saying, how come the hospital's closed?
Right. He's going to have somebody follow up in the audience and like, sorry, not your day. But I'm glad you paid for this ticket.
We need the joy, all these people, they need to go to jail. When poor people do something wrong, they go to jail. When these people do something wrong, they get Felicity Huffman did more time than most of you. But nothing happened to her. Put DeJoy in jail. Put Trump in jail. Put all these people in jail and let them suffer and understand the consequences the way poor people have to do all the time.
That's so true. So true. A lot of people should go to jail. And you're speaking of that, and I don't mean to change the subject, but over the last 3 days, we had these white people throwing bottles of water and popcorn and spitting on.
We're going to address that, George. That's coming up in our trending.
They're always ahead of me.
Yeah. Well, hold on 1 second. I just want to, for folks who are just joining us today, you recognize George Wallace, and our special guest today is Jimmy Malone, comedian and radio host in Cleveland, Ohio. And Jimmy, once again, Thursday and Friday. So you were on this morning. You'll be on tomorrow. And what's the station?
1350 AM.
1350 AM. Oh, I remember the days of AM radio.
Yeah.
And you do Magic 105.7 also?
Yeah, it's on Saturday. Rebroadcast my show Saturdays on WMJI 105.7, and we still do the Knuckleheads in the News segment on WMJI.
So are we giving you anything new right here, or you got it?
No. This is an astute group here. There'll be no Knuckleheads from this group right here, but we're getting plenty of them from other places.
Okay.
Well, you need to know this show is sponsored and brought to us by Hotter Than a Mofo Hot Sauce.
And can you hold on for that too, George? Hang on 1 second.
They have so many surprises for me.
And George, I know you've heard this before, but slow down, baby. You're moving a little fast. Okay.
Right.
So I want to also talk about, I don't know if you've heard about this. This is a case of road rage of the most horrific type. And this is police have identified the suspect in a DC road rage shooting. And he was very identifiable. This man got out of his Maserati and shot into the car of a woman carrying her child to school. This happened a couple of weeks ago, and now they have identified this man. According to Fox News, they have identified the suspect, and they are looking for him. They have found his car. They've impounded the car. Now they're looking for the man who has been identified. And so just a...
I have an old computer. Is that a black man?
Yes, it is.
Damn.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
We done messed up. We got to stop this shooting, man. We got to do something. I guess we hear that all the time. We got to do something about these guns. We got to do something every week.
They won't. Nothing's going to change, unfortunately. It's disgusting, disgraceful, upsetting. Could be changed, but it won't.
And George, talking about crazy Texas, now they, you don't have to have a permit to carry.
Your governor is crazy,
and he's up for re-election next year too. I'm just saying. So keep that in mind.
I'm asking the wrong question. How did he have a disease? How did he get in a wheelchair?
He had an accident. He was jogging, and I think it was a tree that collapsed on him.
How about a hand for the tree?
No.
George.
I said, listen, this guy's pissing me off, but I got a right.
I know. Rightly so. He is pissing you off. His politics are really screwed up.
You can just go buy a gun. You can't go get a driver's license. You got to take a test. Now in Texas, you can just go buy a gun. Give me a gun.
21 and older. Yep.
21 and over. Now, what's wrong with that?
You can't buy a can of spray paint without showing ID.
Exactly. Yes. And they look at you funny when you go buy the mega roll of toilet paper. It's so no. They can stop you from doing all of that
There's
stuff.
something wrong with Texas. And I say, anybody listening to me right now, if you live in the state of Texas, get up and get the hell out of Texas. That includes the executive producer. Get your shit together and leave. The only problem is I said that, but moving is a pain in the ass. I don't want to put that on anybody. Moving, first of all, when you move, you find shit that don't even belong to you. Moving has got to be the worst. But what do? Pack it up, move it on to the next location. Right. And moving is expensive too. You got to buy
the box. We'll toss it out later.
Another thing in Texas, what they do down there, wouldn't it be good if you could just what is it called? Lasso, just throw the rope around your house and just pull that shit in there.
We do that too, George.
Moving is the worst thing you could ever do in life.
All right, George. So now it's time for our trending video brought to you by HotterThanAMofo.com.
Hotter Than a Mofo. Yeah, have you ever heard of Mofo? Jimmy, you in Cleveland, you know what a Mofo is, don't you?
I sure do. There's a lot of them in Cleveland.
Our head Mofo is J. Anthony Brown. And
J. Anthony Black, we like to call him J. Anthony Black.
So this is George, what George was referring to earlier, and I'm sure you've had this conversation too this week, Jimmy.
No, he's in Cleveland. They get news like a day late in Cleveland.
We make the news in Cleveland.
Okay. But this is referencing what Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp. Sometimes get Shannon and Sterling, but Shannon's the talker. Right. I get Shannon Sharp is going off on the horrific treatment by the white fans against black players. And so let's take a look at this.
I don't know if that was her husband or boyfriend sitting next to her, but I'd have turned around and slapped him in his mouth.
Okay. Well, I got it.
50 Cent. That's 50 Cent.
Oh, is it?
Isn't that 50 Cent? Yeah. Oh. I'm sorry. I don't know why he didn't do anything. He might not have seen it.
I might have been 35 Cent because I'd have slapped the change out of his mouth. I read a story, but I don't know if it was here, the States, or overseas, but an Uber driver got spit on by a lady. He ends up dying because he caught COVID. We're coming out of a pandemic, Skip, and we put on masks because we don't, and you and I have been, Jenny hadn't been over here in over a year. You and I make sure we try, when you talk, I try to lean back. When I talk, you try to lean back, so we don't do that. And we've both been vaccinated. And here I am playing, I'm going out there, and somebody just spit on me, Meta. Man, I ain't gonna even lie, Meta. I can't, I'm not gonna be able to control that. I'd have been like you. I'd have been up in the sand.
So a number of things have happened. The first thing they were referring to is Trey Young, right? The young man. Yes. Then we had Westbrook, the guy tossed popcorn on him. Right. And then, of course, we had in Boston and against Boston and Brooklyn, and the bottle of water that was tossed at Kyrie Irving. And so, sorry, the dogs, who let the dogs out?
Shut up, dog. Shut up, dog. You act like a dog.
They really are. Imagine that, asking him not to. So we're talking about this, Jimmy, and a lot of it does seem like these white fans as George has noted, and Shannon has noted, that these white fans are taking their anger and frustration out on the Black players.
Okay, now I'm in the minority here, no pun intended.
Okay.
The majority of the players are Black.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of
playing,
the
right.
The majority of the fans are white.
They can afford to go to those games, right?
Right. So to me, it would be, because there's also a whole lot of white fans who didn't throw a thing and are just as outraged as we are. So I just want to be careful.
Wrong. I just want you to know you're wrong, because it also happened. It also happened in baseball, and it's not all of the players are Black, but in baseball, the white fans are out there, especially like in Boston. They still throw shit at Black players.
But at Black players. But I just want to point out there are a lot of whites who are as outraged as we are by what this knucklehead did, or these knuckleheads do. So I just want to be careful about that. But it is something wrong. And
we're not going to be careful about saying that. These white people got to stop throwing shit on us. You know what, Sybil? I don't like when they ban people. That is not cool. Banning people from the arena for a year. They need to be banned for life. And not only Madison Square Garden, they need to be banned from every arena in the world. Because, they got tricks. Like I said, they're going to be back next week in Wisconsin with a piece of cheese on the head. You won't know who the hell they are. So
I agree on that. The airlines,
$20,000, they need to be hit in the pocket, and the word will get out. You do something stupid, you go into jail. The guy that spit on Trae Young from Atlanta, that's jail time right there. Or asking, as Shannon was
treat it like the airline. That crazy lady who knocked out the teeth of the Southwest said you will never fly Southwest again, and you're going to jail. That's what we need to do.
Well, that stop flying list is for every airline when they put you on there. You don't fly,
right.
No fly list.
No fly list, And that's what they should do to these fans. Kick them out of the arena, never let them go see any game, baseball, football. And the word will get out. You cannot do that. You cannot throw popcorn and water. And a bottle of water can hurt.
Yes, it can hurt.
Yeah, it hurts you in the pocket too. But in the city of Chicago,
what did you mean by hit you in the pocket?
Water's expensive.
I thought you meant hit them in the jewels.
Oh, no. I'll leave that to you, my friend.
That does hurt. That does hurt.
And there was a Black sportscaster that was doing a live stand-up from Wrigley Field, Chicago Cubs home. And a young white kid was giving the white power sign behind the Black sportscaster. And so they found him, and they said he cannot come to another game ever for the rest of his life. So in some places they do that.
Will they do that? Because we've seen more than one picture of I refuse to mention his name, but the former president making that sign. Has he been banned from Wrigley Field?
He's been banned from a lot of places, but I don't know that he has been banned from Wrigley, because the family that owns the Cubs is a big supporter of his.
Right.
Which is why I no longer support the Chicago.
They shouldn't ban him from Wrigley. They should ban him from Kaminsky. Is it Kaminsky?
No, it's the old Kaminsky.
The old Kaminsky. What's it called now? For?
Yeah, it's Globe. It's not Globe Life, but it's a commercial.
United Center. They should ban them for all the sports arenas.
All in Chicago.
All of them. Yes.
Yeah.
See, that's what I would do. That's why y'all need me in charge of this country, to just make some laws and comedians should be in charge of Congress. If we could just really change things and make life better for everybody. Voting law.
You should run.
Voting law, one page. If you're born in America, you got a Social Security card, you vote. That's your voting rights page right there.
It should be that simple.
Like that. And I'm glad Shannon, what you say his last name again? Sharp spoke up, because he improved his speaking ability very well.
He's come a long way. He's come a long way.
You know that for sure, right? And he's doing a very good job now, and he's telling the truth, man. He said he'd have turned around and knocked the change out of his mouth.
He does the HBCU proud, and so we're glad to have him speaking out on behalf of many of us. I want to go to I don't know if you know about our newsletter, Jimmy, but once Tom left the air and we had to find jobs, really difficult after 26 years. You know, oh, I got to go out and find a job. I know. But we did start a newsletter. It's called the What You Need to Know newsletter. And this is something that we learned from Tom, and that is to super serve the African American community. And so I ask you and invite you to sign up and subscribe to our newsletter. Thank you. It's absolutely free.
Yeah.
And
I had to put in my date of birth. I wanted to.
You didn't have to. You didn't.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't put in the right one anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Born in 1992.
There you go. There you go.
Like all us showbiz people, all of us are 5 years older than we say we are.
George, and at 75, I think that's great.
Hush,
really
hush.
So the newsletter is free, and it'll be in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. The things that we talk about in today's newsletter, if you had a chance, we're talking about the voter suppression bill in the state of Texas, obviously, Senate Bill 7, and what's going to happen. Because the Democrats walking out prevented the House from having a quorum to vote on this bill. Now that was the end of the legislative session. What's going to happen now is they have to have a special session. The Governor Abbott, that George has referenced, is going to have to call the special session. But in the meantime, part of what I want them to do is for the Democrats to play hardball and say some of these other things we need to go back and have some discussions about.
Exactly.
They said, oh, we made a mistake. We had a typo saying about the Souls to the Polls hours on Sundays from 1 to 7. It was a typo. We meant to say it was 11. Okay, well, the big whoop, 2 hours. But there's some other things in this bill, obviously, that are so detrimental to Black and brown communities.
Voter suppression, that's all it is. And I have said this before as a joke. They can make it from 10 to 2, like Dr. Pepper. We're going to vote, and we're going to vote their asses out. Whatever it is, we're going to vote their asses out. And I hope Texas are listening. Well, Texas is a very big state. They got a lot of people that don't vote. That Texas could make a change just like that. And I think they're going to do it.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I hope so too. And I'm here, George. I'm with you, Jimmy. I hope that they do. But this was a great moment. An exciting one for those of us who were, just resigned to the fact that this was going to happen. And the Democrats, came back, stood strong, and then they walked out and they all met at a Black church nearby and standing strong and saying, this is what we stand on this, and we're going to make every effort to make sure that this bill is not passed.
I'm so glad they did that. That's really good. That's really smart.
Yeah, it was. And while they're doing this, and the president is saying, good for you, let's go. And so they said, we're holding strong as long and as hard as we can, but it's up to you because you have these federal laws to pass, the For the People Act and the John Lewis, as I said before. And he put more work on the plate of our vice president.
He sure did.
When he was there in Tulsa on Tuesday and said, okay, I know we got to go into the border and to the countries to the south and Guatemala and Honduras and Mexico and all that. But how about you take over the voting issues too?
And a lot of people didn't see this, but I saw her when she said WTF. I saw her mouth. When he said that and giving me another job, that's a
and he's probably saying, well, you wanted to be president so bad. Okay, here's some more work to show.
And you know what? And she has to stand up and be strong and say, I'll get it done.
Oh,
and guess what? And she's gonna get it done too.
Absolutely.
We're used to doing more.
Like Myra said, we don't call her MVP for nothing.
And so MVP, there you go.
Absolutely. So she is going to be leading the voting rights efforts, and that means a lot of work with her former colleagues in the Senate as well as those in the House of Representatives.
How sad, though. Let's not gloss over the fact that it's 2021 and we're fighting for voting rights. Let that sink in.
That's terrible.
And the country that they have told us is the greatest country in the world, and they send our people to other countries to inspect and watch their voting. And this is where we are.
Jimmy.
Yes.
And all the countries are looking at us going, what's wrong with America?
Right. Yeah. Something is wrong. Something is very wrong.
Absolutely. How sad is that? But here's the other thing that I never understood. Why do we have to go back over the Voting Rights Act of years past
and re-up? It should be done. One paper, it's done. You're born in America, you got a Social Security card, you vote forever. No more registration, you're done forever. It should be just that simple. No voter suppression anywhere. Right. Bam, just the Democrats got to, what did Jay say? Got to have balls to get up and get something done. They got to do it.
Yeah. Hey, Lawler. We also do a coronavirus.
Who the hell is Lawler?
Lawler Church is the rescue dog here with me.
You have a rescue dog?
No, Yolanda and Ward have rescue dogs. They're my god dogs.
Oh, okay. Oh my God, this thing has gone too far. You got god dogs.
God dogs.
What the hell is going on? God dogs.
I know.
When the last time you fed that dog?
And my god humans are like, hey. these jokers are treated better than we are.
I know that's right. So you have 2 dogs or 1 dog there?
We have 2 here. We have Lawler and Ramsey. And they come, and Ramsey is our daily companion. Lawler is here because we couldn't leave him at home alone.
Is this like a day home? They come over for the day, or they stay the whole night?
No. They come over for the day, for the show, and then we let them run around a little bit, and then they go home.
Okay, that's pretty.
It's like being a grandparent, from what I understand. Okay. You send them on their way.
You see how nice she is? So she gets out there, get them damn dogs out of here. You let the dogs out, yeah.
So let me ask you this, Jimmy and George. We do have in the coronavirus update today talking about this petition on change.org, in which a Colorado restaurateur has asked for these $2,000 monthly checks to people who are still struggling in order to get them back on their feet. Because as you know, the unemployment benefits, the additional unemployment benefits are being cut every week practically in the various states. And so this woman has started this petition last year. And now, and when the virus shut down businesses and left folks out of work. And so she said that she wanted to help them. And so she came up with this idea. Now the change.org petition has over 3 million people signed up, in agreement with this. I'm not so sure, especially how difficult it was to get this last set of stimulus checks passed. I'm not so sure how that would go over with our current session or the current balance of power in the United States Senate. But I like the idea, and others have said it, but I'm not so sure that we could ever get that done.
I like the idea of helping people.
Yeah,
I do wonder, and I'm not smart enough to know where does the money come from? Because I know if I'm giving George $2,000, which is a horrible thought, if I'm giving George $2,000, the money has to come from somewhere. Yeah. And I'm not smart enough.
We got money, Jimmy. We got printers. We got money.
Right. And that might be the answer. I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't fully understand.
If we can pay $400 million for one airplane, we can get.
Well, that's different. That's that's different because you want to keep this president safe. But
no, it doesn't matter. We just cut back on one of those military jets and pay them and give it to the people. And it doesn't matter. The money's coming right back into the government. That's what stimulus is.
That's the hope. That's the hope that the money will go back into the state and to the country.
I'm all in favor of letting it trickle up this time.
Yeah.
The trickle down.
How great would that be? The trickle up, because we have suffered through so many of the administrations with the trickle down economy and all that nonsense. But it's something that even Andrew Yang talked about $1,000 a month to people when he was running for president. Not doing so well in running for mayor of New York.
New York City, right?
But other people have talked about it, and now we have this. So I'm wondering if it has any legs, and I don't think it'll have any legs until after we find out what's going to happen with the balance of power next year in the midterm elections.
Man, that's a scary thought to even think about these midterm elections.
But listen to me, there's a lot of stupid people out there. We're actually in jeopardy. It's not that we're going to really win. I keep talking. I'm positive. I'm a positive thinker. But we got a lot of work to do. You got a lot of people out there. We got to get this Marjorie Greene out of Georgia. All these people.
That's another story I'm working on.
What's the man named Kennedy down in Mr. Kennedy?
In Louisiana. Yeah.
Don't you think we should? I'm for term limits too. Some of these people are just too damn old to be in office.
Well,
they sit there. They're just even. I love Maxine Waters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But she's 80. Shut up, dog. Shut up. And she's the best. But I think we got to get some new blood in there. I also like for the judge and the FBI, I would like for him to go ahead and retire now because we're going to get screwed on that. And let's get a younger person in there on the Democratic side, a liberal.
Are you talking about on the Supreme Court?
Supreme Court, what's his name, Brenner?
Oh, Breyer. Stephen Breyer.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to get some young people in there. We need young blood in there. That's what's wrong with Washington, D.C., old, rich, white folks.
Well,
I said it.
As we saw the young white folks that came and tried to take over the government on January 6th, too. So there's a lot of that there, too.
I think they did.
How do you feel? Should the Supreme Court justices, and keep in mind Clarence Thomas is on the Supreme Court, should they just be appointed for life? Or should we be able to say you're terrible, you suck, you have to get off the bench? Yes.
Yeah.
When they turn 65, the next voting, the next time, well, they should retire when they're 65. Or maybe let's say 70, okay? Because they're just old and have old antiquated ways. We need new young blood in there. Like Trump put that young lady in there. She's the youngest one on. She's going to be there for 50 years.
Yeah.
The fact that the Supreme Court is supposed to represent the citizens of this country, and it should not be it should not be contingent upon who's in office to appoint them. Right. It shouldn't matter whether you're Democrat or Republican president. The Supreme Court should be representative of the people, of the wishes of the people in this country.
Yeah.
So what are you saying?
And this is a question that has been, long before we got here, and talking about, the court and whether they are appointed for 10 years or whether they have a job until they're 65 or 70. These are, this is something that we could pull up to your bar, Jimmy, and have this conversation time and time again. But it is something to be considered. It absolutely is. I want to go to the question of the day, and I want us to move along. And I want you to take a look at this video. This is not a hotter than a mofo video, but it is. This is a picture. I want you all, and I know you all have experienced this.
Okay.
And Nell says Aunt Reese's upset with her.
What you do now? It's Chicago potato salad, right? They call you potato salad if you were making potato salad. Potato salad. Yeah, well.
There's potato salad controversy again.
I told her that you were making it, but I wasn't making it. But I'm glad that Rod is okay.
So will there be potato salad or not?
No. Yeah, I remember he told me that. I think she might be making hers. I remember that.
Okay, she said she wasn't putting shrimp in it.
Okay.
Because she didn't have any. Not because people might not like it, but because she doesn't have any.
Well, that's why it's not in there.
Okay.
Those are three sisters, right? And you can see the look on their face.
Major. And this was really major, George. We're talking about Supreme Court justices and the future of our country.
This is much more.
Are just so angry about the potato salad.
No, Sybil, the one lady that's putting shrimp in the potato salad, she need her ass kicked. All there is to it. She need her ass kicked. You can't do that. When I was young, my aunt used to put olives on the potato salad. I thought that was the nastiest thing I ever seen in my life. Have you ever heard of that?
No, my mom used to she didn't put it in the potato salad, but she liked olives with her potato salad.
Oh my God. Yeah. That was a country thing people used to do. Shrimp and potato salad, though. Just think about that. That's some nasty stuff right there.
So the question of the day is, who makes the best potato salad in your family, or who would you rather not bring the potato salad to the family barbecue?
You want me to name the person that I don't want on television?
Yes.
Ain't Ruben. Ain't Bertha.
Oh my goodness.
Sybil, I hate to say this, but in the old days, Aunt Bertha, I'm going to tell you something, Aunt Bertha, she used to make the potato salad, but she would chop up the potatoes. Once she put the ingredients in there, no spoon, no fork. She would do it with her hand.
Oh boy.
She would do it with her hand, and mix the whole thing, mixture. And she had long fingernails and that
shit. You go, George, it's a wonder you ever ate potato salad again. ever again.
Well, listen, I go to Publix and they got some good potato salad.
You like that? Our friend Brian Scott says it's Cousin Arlene.
Cousin Arlene, okay.
He's calling Cousin Arlene out. Our friend Brian on Facebook. And you say, Bertha, what about you, Jimmy?
My sister Linda can make the good potato salad. Okay. So I would vote for her to take
it. So you would go with sister.
Sister Linda. Yes, yes.
And so Jimmy?
Yes.
Who would you not like to make the potato salad?
Well, I haven't had.
You can get in trouble now.
I know I can't, but I'm not trying to dodge it. I don't know who in the family makes the really bad potato salad. I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm gonna.
The next time you're on, we're gonna talk about mac and cheese. I just want you to be ready for that.
Now, nobody can make good mac and cheese. If I never eat a
George. I'm not a cook, but I can make some pretty good mac and cheese.
You can make some mac and cheese, George.
She makes it out of the box, Sybil. She went to college.
No.
What does it look like on top, Sybil?
It's a beautiful brown.
Okay.
It's with a little extra cheese on top, but it's a beautiful golden brown.
Okay. Okay.
Well, Sybil, what else do you cook?
I told you that's it. I take my books out of the oven in order to make some mac and cheese.
Okay. Okay.
And then once the oven cools off, then I put my books back in.
Take some books out of the oven in case she needs more fire.
Somebody said they put crab meat on their potato salad the other day. God. And she said it was good.
It might be. I like crab meat.
Me too.
Yeah, it might be good.
I don't like crab meat. Nothing. I don't like salmon because that might have that fish taste.
Yeah, I don't like salmon.
Can you imagine that being in your potato salad? Potato salad is really good, especially when you put the my daughter Phoebe and her husband. They can make good potato salad. I like it with the green peppers. They call it bell peppers. A little taste of that. And I like it with egg, and I like it with a little mustard. And I like it. You can put an onion in there if you want to. No.
Here, let me ask you. Here's an important
when you came over to my house and ate, we had onion and shrimp, and you didn't say shit when you ate it.
But you don't say that when you're in someone else's home. But inside my head, I'm going, no.
People eat strange combinations. Like you won't know about this. So when you're from Chicago, you do know about this. When we were kids in college, you ate a piece of apple pie, and they would say, "You want a slice of cheese on that?"
Yeah,
that's wrong.
Yeah,
that's big time.
It's absolutely wrong, Jimmy. I'm with you, but it is definitely
only thing belongs on top of apple pie is a scoop of ice cream. That is it.
That's it.
That's what you say.
And peach cobbler. That's it for me.
Well, see, in the Midwest, where Sybil is from, Illinois and Wisconsin.
What is he from? He's from the Midwest.
Yeah.
Why is that called the Midwest? That's closer to the East than it is the Midwest.
I agree, but they call Ohio the Midwest.
It's the end of the Midwest. You can't go any further east and call it Midwest. That's it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay. We don't have a lot of time, George, but and Jimmy, but I do want to talk to you a little bit of.
Why don't we have more time? We haven't done anything.
You've been quite active this last.
I don't talk much.
Jimmy, this is in your neighborhood of sorts. They announced today that the Cleveland Indians name is soon going to leave. They're now narrowing their final list of new names and vetting them for legal purposes. They announced in December that it's changing its name for the first time since 1915. Decision that came as a part of the national movement. Of course, we were talking about the Indian names and prejudicial names and symbols. They've been meeting with fans, and they revealed several brainstorming sessions, also included community leaders, local influencers, staff members. 1,200 potential names were aggregated. 1,200. And now they whittled it down to extract the top choices. It's not known how many, but Jimmy, do you know some of the names that are being discussed?
I have not heard the names. One of the things I'm trying to figure out, though, the Washington football team.
Right.
Once they recognized that their name was no good, they said, until we come up with a new name, we're going to be the Washington football team. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why
the Cleveland baseball team.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't do that. And again, I have many friends who work, for the team, and they're great people. But I'm just not sure why they didn't say we're going to be the Cleveland baseball. Once they acknowledge that this name is not good, why not say the Cleveland baseball team until we come up with another name?
Well, and does that present problems for the Atlanta Braves?
Probably, although you guys are pretty hard-headed. You know, you got those.
I'm in the state of Georgia, but
those old. But that's what I'm saying. You got those old white men are like, we don't care. We're the Braves. What you gonna do?
What we gonna do in Atlanta? Because we be thinking we're simply gonna take the E, remove the E, and put in an O.
The Bravos.
Bravos.
Okay.
I like that.
That's good.
I like that.
And what we're going to do, I'm in charge of naming all the sports team. I told y'all I want to be in charge of that. We're going to name the Washington football team the Washington DMVs.
Okay. Okay.
And that includes the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia. That should be the Washington.
Look at you.
I've been thinking, yes, the Washington DMVs.
All right. I like that.
And the Atlanta Bravos. So I know, if you ask me, I pretty much know everything.
Well, what should the Cleveland team be called?
So some of the names that are being pushed by fans on social media are the Spiders.
I don't like that one.
No.
But it sounds very animated. It sounds like the superhero kind of stuff. The Guardians.
Yeah, that's based on a bridge that we have downtown.
Okay.
No.
And the Avengers.
That's because they made the movie, and
I think they should be called. I think they should be called the Cleveland Zips.
Well, as a result of the last baseball World Series that your team and my team were in, I will go with that.
Okay. Okay.
What is Cleveland really known for? What is Cleveland really known for? It used to be the Still, but the Steelers got that name.
We're known for Polish boys.
That's a good name. That's a good name right there. The Cleveland Polish boys.
Maybe we'll go with that.
And the last story I want to talk about is George Wallace. Las Vegas is coming back to life.
Yeah.
How about that? Vegas is rolling. Look at that.
Wow.
They got that up, and it's going to be September at least before I go back. I want to see. Look at that. I really, Las Vegas is good, but I want to wait and see what happens after this last weekend and what's going to happen during the summer. The number could spike again. There's people coming in from everywhere. I don't know.
I'm wondering about the spike too, George, with this past weekend, the holiday and camps and all the other stuff coming together.
And the state of Georgia is number 48 in being vaccinated.
Wow.
They never had a rule here. People walk around here back when it was at its highest moment. People had no mask on. They didn't give a damn. And I'm talking about a lot of black kids. Like I passed the nightclub. The girls. Parties, yeah. I said that. And the girl, what's that girl name living in Atlanta? Was going to a party every night. Every night. And they would go to the parties and they'd have their mask over their middle section. That'd be their skirt. That'd be their skirt. I would see them standing out in the cold with nothing but a mask on as a skirt. So Georgia being number 48.
And were those really girls?
Sybil, you crossing the line. It was Sybil. Yes, it was close to Morehouse.
Oh wow. Okay, I really stepped into that, didn't I? George and Jimmy, it's time for our Yogi's Jewels. Every day we have a daily inspiration.
Yogi's Jewels. I can't wait.
Yogi's Jewels. Someone once said, people
Who
don't.
Who is someone?
It might have been you, George, although it does say wise. People don't always remember what you did or said, but they will remember how you made them feel. And George, that is really applicable to you.
And
that
don't
really
you
does.
ever forget that.
Yeah.
You got to make people feel good when you walk away. When you walk into a room, you should cause laughter, put a smile on somebody's face. Because if you do, and somebody, look what the cat just, And when people walk in and say, speaking of the devil.
And George has made a nice living by putting out this book called Bullquit. Yeah. Do you have your copy, Jimmy?
I do have my copy. We talked about it this morning. I know you can go to georgewallace.net.
Come on now. Look at you. Look at you.
Yeah, he got a $19 book too. He didn't get the $140 book.
But George is famous for his tweets, and this is one today.
Yes.
Folks done caught air fryer fever and whatnot. You
ain't shit unless you rocking an air fryer, okay? Everybody's got to have an air fryer, okay?
Yeah. I'm big on air fryer.
I'm not, but I just got one, which is really humorous to me because, like I said,
You're not gonna believe me, but the best steak I've ever had, I cooked it in an air fryer.
Shut up.
And you're not gonna believe me, the best mac and cheese Sybil ever made. She made it in an air fryer. But listen, what is with this air fryer? I don't have one yet. Somebody told me you've got to get one. I don't cook, first of all. My stove has never been used in New York or anywhere.
Any of your homes, you just don't.
I just don't cook. I can cook every now and then. I'll make an egg and grits, but that's about it.
Okay.
But the air fryer is really catching on.
Steak in the air fryer, Jimmy.
It's the best steak I've ever had.
Jimmy, it's been great having you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for allowing me to be part of this. It's been a
you are
riot.
welcome. Please come back. And once again, remind folks how we can hear you on Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays.
Yeah, I'm on 1350 AM. That's the iHeart station right here in Cleveland, Ohio. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And thank you for putting up with this knucklehead.
Well, Jimmy has been a great guy. When I went to Cleveland, I first started doing comedy. He was there with a guy named John Lanigan, number one in the morning in Cleveland. And like they say, and I was doing both stations at the time. Tom,
the award-winning radio show, man.
Yes. And Jimmy has all the awards from all the Hall of Fame and all of that, national broadcasters. He's got it all. So, Jimmy, we want to thank you so much. And when I come, I try to get him to open for me every time I come to Cleveland, Sybil. He's so
we did it with the last time you were at Hilaria years ago. I opened for you that night.
We did.
And I still haven't been paid.
Good night, everybody.